Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Don Webby, Chairman of Key Insurance Company Limited, and it is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to the 2022 Annual General Meeting for the company. I'm very pleased to welcome all shareholders who have joined us today online. I hope that you and your families are doing well. This year's AGM is once again being held virtually as we continue to navigate the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic here in Jamaica. I remain hopeful, however, that by next year we'll be able to host the AGM in person. As I indicated at our last AGM, if we are to return to normality, we must increase the vaccination rate. So I'm therefore proud to share with our shareholders today that over 94%, yes, 94% of the staff at Key Insurance has been vaccinated. I think that's a remarkable achievement, and I use this opportunity to thank the staff at Key. The past 2 years has been extremely challenging. But through it all, our valuable customers and shareholders have stood by us. Let me say to all, thank you for continuing to choose Key Insurance. Our Key team's commitment to you and to making this company a success has paid off, and we are eternally grateful for their hard work and dedication during these difficult times. Once we work together, one spirit, one goal, I know that our company will continue to succeed. I now invite Mrs. Sharon Prendergast to lead us in prayer. Sharon?
Good afternoon, everyone. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this afternoon. We thank you for having spared our lives to be here to participate in another annual general meeting. Lord, we thank you for the guidance that you have provided to us over the past year. Lord, we thank you for those you have guided to lead this company. Lord, for its management team, for the board of directors. We thank you for the staff, Lord, who have worked very hard. Lord, we thank you for our shareholders who have supported us. Father, we ask that you continue to bless us, to guide us, to keep and protect us. Lord, I ask for your blessing on this evening's proceedings. Lord, that all will be done to your honor and to your glory. And we ask all these mercies in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you very much, Sharon. That was a lovely prayer. Thanks so much. I will now introduce Ms. Kerry Ann Evans, Legal Counsel for Grace Kennedy Financial Group. Ms. Evans will perform the function of Corporate Secretary at today's meeting. Kerry Ann Evans. Will the Company Secretary please advise if a quorum is present?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the requisite quorum of 2 persons, as provided for in Article 58 of the company's Articles of Incorporation, is in fact present online.
Thank you, Ms. Evans. I now invite the Secretary to take us through the protocols for today's meeting.
Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. For today's proceedings, we ask that shareholders adhere to the following protocols. First, all questions are to be submitted via email to agm@keyinsuranceja.com. That's agm@keyinsuranceja.com. I thank those who have already submitted questions and encourage everyone to continue to send in questions. We have allotted half an hour for the Q&A segment of the meeting, and we will aim to respond to all queries within that time period. We encourage you to identify yourself by including your name whenever you're submitting questions. During the meeting, your microphones will be muted. However, we invite you to use the chat box feature that is located at the bottom of your screen to make comments. However, as I mentioned before, questions are to be submitted via email. When you registered for the meeting, you would have either identified yourself as a shareholder or a non-shareholder. I wish to remind you that only shareholders or their duly appointed proxies are permitted to move and second motions, as well as to vote on resolutions. Non-shareholders will not be able to participate in the voting process, but are, of course, encouraged to ask questions. If a shareholder wishes to move or second a motion, you may do so by either clicking the Raise Hand reaction button, which is located at the bottom of your screen, or you may use the Raise Hand function in the participants list located to the right of your screen. After each resolution is moved and seconded, it will be displayed on your computer screen. Shareholders will then be invited to vote on the resolution by clicking the For or Against button. Shareholders will have approximately 30 seconds to cast their vote, after which the results for each resolution will be announced by the chairman. Note that this meeting is being recorded, and a copy of the recording will be uploaded to the company's YouTube channel tomorrow, and that link will also be accessible on the company's website. I thank you in advance for complying with these protocols, and I do look forward to another successful AGM.
Thank you very much, Ms. Evans. All shareholders would have previously received a notice of this meeting, which was published in the annual report. May I please have a motion that the notice of the meeting be taken as read? May I have a shareholder to move and another to second this motion? Shareholders are reminded to use the raise hand feature located at the bottom of your screen to move or second this motion.
Moved by Stephen Whittingham, seconded by Carleen Isaacs.
Moved by Stephen Whittingham, seconded by Carleen Isaacs. Ladies and gentlemen, the resolution is now displayed on your screens. I ask that you submit your vote in favor or against.
Get the key, affordable insurance for you and me, for your car, for your house and your things. Get it free. Every bus operator, every taxi, link up 888 call key. Watch out, just get your license, then don't worry. Just buy your car, you gonna save plenty. Up to 65% off your policy. Yeah, dial 888 call key.
Go live, ride and drive with Key Insurance, the key to your peace of mind.
Dial 888 call key.
That's 888-225-5539. www.keyinsurancejm.com.
Okay, the votes have been submitted. The Secretary has confirmed that the majority has voted in favor of this resolution. I declare the motion carried. I will now do a brief presentation, Chairman's introductory remarks, and then I'll hand over to Tamara and to Stuart to get into more details. So, ladies and gentlemen, because of the virtual nature of our meeting, I'm going to introduce the directors of the board virtually. As we go through, we see Rochelle Cameron, Herman McRae, Mariam McIntosh Robinson, Heather Goldson, Linval Freeman. Linval is actually a busy director, chairman of our audit committee. Kerry Ann Evans, who is here with us in her capacity as corporate secretary, but she's also a director of the company. Kareem Tomlinson and Sandra Masterton. I've been given a statistics that 67% of our board members are female and male 33%. I guess that's why we have such an effective board. But we really have a very dynamic board, and I'm extremely pleased to be chairman of this board of directors. One of the areas that we have been spending a lot of time on since acquiring the company in March 2020, well, control of the company in March 2020, is that of corporate governance. I'm sure our literature that you have read would indicate strong corporate governance would increase the shareholders' value of any company. The first that I'd say is that we have been very active in director training and engagement. And if you look at the annual report, you see that the attendance of our directors are simply outstanding, and I'd like to thank the directors in that regard for their support. Training of our directors, we had 9 training sessions held in 2021. And of those 9 training sessions, 3 of these sessions were insurance specific to bolster the knowledge base of the board. So one of the things that we have said is that as a member of the board, we believe that it is very important that the board has a good understanding of the insurance industry. And we do a lot of benchmarking at the board level in terms of performance of other insurance companies, not only in Jamaica, but worldwide. Performance evaluation of our board, you know, in terms of best practices in corporate governance is extremely, extremely important that you do board evaluations. And I'm happy to say that the first formal annual performance evaluation to improve the effectiveness of our board was done. And I'm also happy to say to our shareholders and colleagues online that we scored an A in that regard. The performance evaluation survey, we use that to inform various board decisions in terms of succession planning for the executives and the board. We look at the skill set and the various gaps that we need to fill. So we're very happy about the evaluation of the board, and we'll continue to do it on an annual basis. Aligning with best practices, you'd have seen that we have revised the corporate governance code since acquiring the company. And the corporate governance code that we have acquired is in line with world-class, best-in-class corporate governance. We have also made a special effort, and I must say that we have been successful in this regard in terms of timely disclosure of information. One of the areas that we are very proud of, and I have to give credit to Linval Freeman and Stuart and the management team, that our audit results are now being released within 60 days of the year end, despite the challenges that we have in terms of COVID-19 pandemic. Let me share with you that any company that you lead, whether from the board level or the executive level, it's extremely important that you have a vision for that company. And we have a clear vision for Key Insurance Limited, and I want to share it with you. And it's very simple. It's really to servicing your needs, to satisfy our customers by providing the best possible insurance protection of your assets in Jamaica. To satisfy our customers by providing the best possible insurance protection of your assets in Jamaica. And we are all aligned as a board and as an executive team in terms of realizing that vision, and I'll come back to that. I'll come to the how later in my presentation. Let us look at the financial results very quickly, and Stuart and Tamar is going to get into a lot more details. But 2021 was simply outstanding for your company. Our revenues were up 533 million, or 33% growth on 2020. So we're looking at revenues now of about 2.17 billion Jamaican dollars, which I think that growth rate is extremely, extremely outstanding. That was translated into the profits, where the previous year, 2020, we made a loss of just over 400 million, and we turned it around to 238 million in terms of profits, and turnaround, colleagues, of 687 million. And I'm extremely proud of the management team in terms of how they executed on that initiative of turning around the company, which we stated from day one. You'll recall that the primary objective of Grace Kennedy, having acquired the company, is to turn around the company to profitability, and we have done so in 2021, an increase of 153%. Let me point out to you that we changed our reinsurance arrangement, and because of the strength of the Grace Kennedy Group in terms of insurance, we were able to negotiate, Stephen Whittingham and his team, a much better reinsurance program, and that resulted, when we did the actuarial review, release of $217 million in reserves. And I think that shows the synergistic strength of having key insurance as a part of the Grace Kennedy Financial Group. So we are extremely, extremely proud of the financial performance in terms of pre-tax profits and revenue for Key Insurance Limited, 2021 over 2020. That continued to the first quarter. The 2021 shareholders' equity. You would see that has increased by 816 million, so the company is well capitalized. I point out to you the renounceable rights issue, which generated 668 million in cash. So what you're seeing here, my fellow shareholders, owners of the company, and others online, that you're now seeing a very well capitalized insurance company with over 1 billion Jamaican dollars in equity, and that has increased by 816 million year over year. Let me say this, that Grace Kennedy is committed, as I said at the previous AGM, to have a well-capitalized insurance company. And you'd have seen, let me just scroll back if I can, and use this BOSI pointer here. You would see here that our MCT is now at over 286.14%. So we are extremely pleased again that we have a very well capitalized company. The performance for 2021, and Tamara and her team will get into the details, continued for 2022 first Q, where our revenues are up 74 million, or 16%. That translated to, again, improved profitability. And look at where we're coming from. Look at where we're coming from. Q1 2020, you're talking about a deficit of over 500 million. 2021, we turned that around, and 2022 will continue to show marginal improvement in the pre-tax profit. Having said that, colleagues, as we have been discussing, and I did share that at the AGM for Grace Kennedy Limited, in my capacity as Group CEO, there are a number of headwinds that we are navigating, but I have all the confidence in the management that we are going to, and the board, that we are going to come through these challenges in a positive way. So as you know, the world is facing significant global inflation. The insurance industry, in terms of Tamar, the car parts, etc., is directly impacted by that. So when you see the inflation rate in the USA moving to 8.5%, or the UK to over 9%, and Canada, the situation in Jamaica is that we have what I refer to as a lot of imported inflation, because a number of the inputs are coming from overseas. In addition to that, you'd see Jamaica inflation rate is 11.8%. So that is directly impacting our business. Also, that is expected to result in the increase in reinsurance rates. But my team, they are very skillful in terms of negotiating with our reinsurers. So I'm sure we can minimize that impact. Foreign exchange volatility, the dollar is 1 week is devaluing, next week is revaluing, so we have to manage that very carefully in terms of our price, our products. Interest rates are going up. The policy rate for Jamaica is up 5% or 4.5%. That's another impact. And of course, the lingering impact of COVID-19. I say that to say this, colleagues, that while the performance of Key continues to be positive, I must be transparent with our shareholders that there are a number of headwinds, not only Key is facing, but the business environment, not only in Jamaica, but worldwide is facing. Global inflation, that's very, very serious. Jamaica specific, the foreign exchange volatility, interest rates rising. You'd see that interest rates are the highest in the USA for 40 years. And of course, the lingering impact of COVID-19. So, while we face these headwinds, what is very important is that as a board and as a management team, we stay focused in terms of execution of our strategic drivers, the execution of our strategic drivers. And these are sustainable growth and innovation, consumer or customer centricity. We are very, very focused in that regard, operational efficiency and performance-driven culture. I believe that once we stay true, then we are going to manage those challenges or headwinds, as we refer to it, in a very professional way. So, scoreboard. How did we do for 2021, focusing on these initiatives? Remember when we bought the company, what we had said is that when the analysts and the brokers, the David Rose of this world and others, asked, well, how are you going to do it? We said we have 4 strategic drivers: sustainable growth and innovation, customer centricity, operational efficiency, and performance-driven culture. Well, I'm happy that I'm able to stand in front of all of you, though virtual, in the AGM, and say to you that here's the scorecard, here's how we did. Sustainable growth and innovation, we grew by 33%, total revenue grew by 33%. Shareholders' return on equity, 24%. And if I'm correct, when we did our benchmark in Stuart, that's one of the highest in the industry. So we are delivering a good return to our shareholders, 24%. Customer centricity, well, we did customer survey. We wanted to hear from our customers of how we are doing. 81% customer satisfaction score. I've said to the team that 81 is not good enough for us, so we need to step up on that. I want to see an A+ for our customer survey score. So I'm looking forward, Tamara and Stephen, who is in the audience with us, for the next score. I want our score to be certainly over 81%, more to 90, 95%. 15% customer portfolio growth. We're happy with that. 2020 was 10%, so we're moving in the right direction. The other thing that we have spent a lot of time at the board is digital transformation. And this is a Grace Kennedy Group initiative led by Mr. Whittingham. But I tell you, I don't often get very, very excited with a presentation, but when Tamara and her team did the presentation about Key specifically, I must confess, Tamara and team, that I got very excited. It's simply outstanding. And I believe it's going to be a competitive advantage for Key going forward. So, you can request quotes now, make payments, renew policies, and file claims online at Key Insurance Limited. And Tamara, I really want to, as we would say in Jamaica, big you up for executing on this initiative. I know it was challenging, but you have done it, and I want to congratulate you. Operational efficiency is so important when you have global inflation and those challenges. Our 11% loss ratio decreased. Excellent performance again by the management. And the performance-driven culture, you'd have heard me before, I'm sure, in another forum, saying that there's a strong correlation between profitability and employee engagement. So if you want the secret sauce of why a company is profitable, look at their employee engagement score. And Key Insurance scored 78%, and the international benchmark is 65%. So we are outperforming the international benchmark significantly. Key Insurance is. And I think that's one of the reasons why you're seeing this good performance. And let me use this opportunity to say to the staff who are listening that I really want to express my sincere appreciation for your hard work, your dedication during a very challenging time under COVID. And I know a lot of you have made personal sacrifices, and I may not get to say it to you face to face, but I do appreciate your hard work, your effort, your commitment, and your dedication to this company. So in wrapping up, let me say, despite the headwinds, as I've outlined before, I'm confident that 2022 and beyond will be a success for Key as we work together to hold to get a larger share of the Jamaican insurance market. And who knows, maybe we'll be going in the Caribbean sooner than we think. So again, let me use this opportunity to thank all our team members I just did, our customers. Thank you so much for staying with Key. We promise you that we're going to try and get that 81% to 90%. And all the stakeholders, all the shareholders, and all the media, everybody that has shown an interest and given us support to turn around this company. We have done so. Now it's time. We're going to put it in full gear for further growth and expansion. I'm now going to ask our General Manager, Tamara, to make a presentation on the performance. She'll get into a lot more details than I have. And Tamara, you're going to touch on the first quarter also. And then Stuart, you will join after. So Tamara, over to you. After Tamara's presentation and Stuart, we're going to have a question and answer session of which I will moderate. Come, Tamara, your time.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for taking the time out to join us this afternoon at our annual general meeting. So I will be taking you through the agenda. I will be doing the 2021 recap. Stuart will take us through the 2021 financial performance, and I will again join you for 2022 highlights and close with an outlook. So before I go any further into the agenda, I would like to pause here to present to you our 2022 management team. But before I also do that, I would like to acknowledge Heather Bowie, who was with us in 2021. She demitted office at December 31st as the claims manager. Mrs. Bowie spent 35 years in service to Key Insurance Company, and for that we're truly grateful and just want to thank her for her contribution to the success of the company. So for 2022, you have yours truly, also Stuart Andrade, our Chief Financial Officer, Carleen Isaacs, our Reinsurance and Non-Motor Manager, Katie Da Silva, Senior HR Officer, Andrew Dunkley, our Operations Manager, and Paula Williams, who joined us as Claims Manager for 2022. Now, as a business, our success is really based on the performance and the support of our team members. It is those team members on whose shoulders that the management team truly stand on to execute the initiatives to support the growth and continued growth of the company. So I want to publicly acknowledge all the key team members for their support and continued contribution to the business. So our chairman would have touched on our vaccination rate, but for us at Key, it's extremely important that we continue to provide a safe environment for all our stakeholders, not just for our staff, but also for our customers. And despite the changes, we do remain very fluid in ensuring that we continue to make provisions should there be any changes in our operating environment. So I will now go into our 2021 recap. 2021 would have been what we want to consider a successful year for us, despite the challenges being faced because of the second year of the COVID-19 pandemic. We ended the year very strong, but I want to at least, share with you what happened over the 4 quarters. So in the first quarter, we would have completed a renounceable rights issue, and coming out of that, which was very successful, we were able to exceed our minimum capital test ratio of 250%, which is a regulatory requirement. And I'm happy to report that since then, we continue to meet this regulatory requirement every month. We would have also outperformed our 2020 first quarter performance in our gross written premiums by approximately 54%. We ended the quarter with a launch of 2 new products, Key Biz Protect, which is really geared towards our small and medium-sized businesses, and also PPV Protect Insurance, and this product is for our public passenger vehicle insureds. I'm happy to report that the PPV Protect Insured product, we have done very well. We ended 2021 with a 43% improvement when compared to similar risks, gross written premiums in our 2020 portfolio. And as at the end of Q1 for 2022, we recorded a 33% improvement over 2021. In Q2, and my chair would have touched on this, we did launch our online portal. And this would have allowed our customers during a period of restriction by the disaster caused by the Disaster Risk Management Act to be able to connect with us successfully. And what we noticed was that quite a bit of our customers utilized the platform for payment of their premiums, particularly, and also to renew their policies. So we don't have as much uptake as yet for filing a claim, but we do recognize that customers seems very comfortable in paying their premiums online. And we continue to look for ways to, based on customers' feedback, to improve the online portal. We would have also ended the second quarter outperforming 2021 Q2 on our gross written premium lines by about 34%. In the third quarter of 2021, we also outperformed not just our gross written premium, but also our underwriting performance improved, and our PBT also improved when compared to the same period in 2020. We ended 2021 with what I would consider a bang, because we not only outperformed the fourth quarter of 2020, we also recorded the first full year of profit since 2017, this being the highest recorded profit for the company since its enlistment on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. Again, we could not have had this success without the support of you, our shareholders, our team members, our partners, and just all the stakeholders in Key Insurance Company. What did our people have to say about us in 2021? My chairman would have highlighted these 2 areas, but I just wanted to highlight for you that from our general client satisfaction score of 81, 86% of respondents indicated that they were satisfied with our service. And when we looked at the data, we do recognize that there are areas for improvement despite this high score. And so for this year, we are really focused on improving those areas, particularly around our claim service. That remains a point of focus for us. And I will just share with you a short clip of what one of our customers had to say about our service.
Insurance is very good when it comes to customer service, and people don't just, the staff don't just know how to deal with customers.
Key Insurance is the key to your peace of mind.
We also would have included in our activities for 2021 our duty under our corporate social responsibility. Similar to our parent company, we consider it very important to play our part in nation building and educating the next generation. So in May, we participated in the Child's Month activities by donating 9 tablets to children across 6 families in parishes where our branches are located. We would have also contributed $100,000 to the Best Care Foundation, and this foundation supports the learning of children with disability, over 200 children, and this for us was also very important because we do recognize their need, and we intend to continue to support such worthy causes as we go forward. At this point, I'm going to pause and allow Stuart Andrade, our CFO, to come to the podium and to discuss with you our 2021 financial performance. Stuart?
Thank you, Tamara. Great afternoon, everyone. 2021 was considered an historic year for Key. We had the highest revenue over the last 10 years, and we had the highest profits over the last 10 years. Tamara actually mentioned our staff, and they were the core to the results that you are actually going to be seeing now. As it relates to our premiums performance, gross written premiums, on the back of strong sales and marketing activities, we had a 34% increase year on year, from $1.4 billion to $1.9 billion, a $483 million increase. We also increased our market share from 2.5% to 3.2%. In terms of our net premiums earned, net written premiums, sorry. Again, as the chairman said, we restructured our reinsurance arrangement, and this actually allowed us to cede less. So in 2021, we actually ceded 31% versus 34% in 2020. This translated to a 40% increase in terms of net written premium, or $373 million, from $940 million in 2020 to $1.32 billion in 2021. As it relates to our claims, we only had a 5% increase, or $27 million, from $563 million in 2020 to $590 million. Our claims loss ratio actually was, as I said last year, was trending in the right direction. We ended the year with having reduced by 25%, from 60% in 2020 to 45% in 2021. Now, this is a testament of the improved underwriting practices that the company is actually executing on. In terms of our profit before tax performance, this is a massive turnaround. Loss of $450 million in 2020. Again, it's a turnaround of about $690 million, or 153% increase, to $240 million actually reported in 2021. What were some of the main highlights? Our motor premiums grew by 38% from 2020 to 2021, while our non-motor premiums grew by 22%. Again, the realignment of our reinsurance arrangement, or the restructuring of our reinsurance arrangement, actually allowed us to retain more. In us retaining more, that actually allowed us to report underwriting gains of $79 million in 2021 versus a loss of $534 million in the prior year. We executed on our investment strategy, and this allowed the company to realize an increase in investment income of 117% year on year. I want to just take a moment and just reiterate. 2021 was the first year that the company returned a profit since 2017. I'll say it again. 2021 was the first year that the company returned to profitability since 2017. On a quarterly basis, when we look at our gross and net premiums earned, average GWP, or gross written premiums per quarter, increased by 35%, from $355 million to $479 million. Average net earned premium grew by 40%, from $205 million to $288 million. On a quarterly basis, in terms of our profits, the company outperformed PBT every single quarter of 2021. This brings us one step closer to our goal of sustained growth and profitability, and we remain committed to delivering on strong performances. In terms of our performance, when you look at this particular chart, over the last 6 quarters, there has been consistent profitable performance. We only reported losses in Q1 and Q2 of 2020, and we continue on this path in terms of our underwriting performance into 2022. I end this presentation as I did last year. Premiums are up, our underwriting practices are actually improving, and this is going to be the driving force of our sustained growth and profitability as we enter into the future. Over to you, Chair.
Thank you, Stuart. Thank you. So, despite our successes in 2021, as we go forward in 2022, our journey is far from over. We must continue to deliver to our shareholders sustained growth and profitability, and we are committed to doing so despite the headwinds that we are facing as a business. And my chair would have highlighted the 4 major pillars that we relied on in 2021, and we will continue to rely on these 4 pillars to support our growth targets in 2022. It's very, very important that we do so, and we have performance-driven culture at the end of this slide, but it is also the most important one because we believe that with great people in a really great environment, being fully informed and empowered, then that will position us to deliver on our sustainable growth and innovation, which will result in increased gross written premiums and, of course, a financially healthier Key Insurance. And this will also support our commitment to our customers to provide them with an excellent customer experience and customer-driven products. So these are very important for us, and the team remains extremely committed to executing on these pillars as we go forward in 2022. And highlight of our performance for the first quarter in 2022. As depicted here, you will notice that we would have outperformed our first quarter performance for 2021 in 22, and these are driven by our continued marketing activity via our social media platforms and radio adverts, and of course, the continuous relationship building that we are engaged in with our direct customers, our broker partners, and our agents. We continue to outperform in terms of our underwriting results, and this will remain a focus for us despite the headwinds that we're now facing. So just to give you a snapshot of the 2022 business performance for the first quarter, you will see here that we continue to do well in comparison to 2021 and also 2020 on our gross written premium lines, our net premium earned, underwriting loss, and our net profits. So what is our focus for the rest of 2022? We are aware of the changes in the macro environment, and so as a team, we continue to look at our business, to look at ways to improve our operations, to manage our expenses, and to deliver just exactly what our customers require. And based on the changes that we're seeing, we have decided that we will increase our marketing of our motor offerings, paying particular attention to our third-party and PPV Protect coverages to aid in growing our revenues. We will also be focusing on our digital capabilities, particularly to help us to improve our customer and partner experiences, as well as support our business automation initiatives. Prudent claims and administration expense management is also very important for us as we continue to navigate an ever-changing macro environment. The health and wellness of our team members. This is a focus for us, and our HR team has been very supportive in ensuring that we have activities that are geared towards the health and well-being of our team members. We have also launched and will be marketing heavily our solar energy coverage and water sports liability. We would have been getting increased requests for quotations, particularly for water sports liability, since the reopening of the tourism industry, and so we created this particular product to meet the needs of those requests. And our solar energy coverage is not just geared towards homeowners, but also businesses and the persons who are installing the solar panels. So this again is a very innovative product for us that we will be highlighting to our customers with a view to help to grow our portfolio. We continue to focus on strategic investment and capital management, and of course we cannot do without the support of our partners, and so this must remain a very important strategic focus for us as we navigate 2022. So what does our outlook looks like, or a future? We believe that the insurance industry, and by extension, Key Insurance Company, will continue to see the diminishing of the impact of COVID-19 over the next 9 to 12 months. And with that happening, we also have already begun to see an increase in operating expenses, particularly due to increases arising out of parts price because of the inflation. The movement in the consumer price index would also impact our business in terms of our short tail liability matters such as motor claims. The inflation is also likely to impact our reinsurance costs, but my chair would have alluded to our ability to negotiate terms, and so that will be a focus for us as we meet with our reinsurers later this year. We have already started to see an increase in our claims activities, and I'm sure you'd have all noticed that there has been an increase in frequency in motor vehicle accidents on the road. Some of it has also led to fatalities, for which is truly regrettable. And so we continue to implore all our road users to take care on the roads, because this has a multiplying effect on just not insurance, but also on families and lives. We intend to maintain compliance with our regulatory requirements despite the elevated levels of uncertainty, and we will continue to monitor our reinsurance arrangements to benefit from any potential opportunities, whether it's a new product or just managing our expenses. And we will also continue to identify and execute on initiatives that we believe will drive sustained profitability and, of course, increase our shareholders' value. So as I come to the end of my presentation, again, I would really like to thank all our stakeholders for partnering with us through 2020, into 2021, and now in 2022. We remain very committed to our promise to continue to deliver insurance, economical insurance solutions, and to, as best as possible, return value to you, our stakeholders. Thank you so much for your time.
Am I on mic here? Okay, thank you very much. Fellow shareholders and colleagues, I'm getting a lot of questions coming in. So, Madam Secretary, it's appropriate for me to sit and leave these questions. What happened, because it's a virtual meeting, the questions keep coming in and the papers keep coming at me. So I think it would be more efficient to just sit and deal with them as we speak. Okay, the first one is from Judith Evans, who is a shareholder. Are there any plans to enhance the Key logo so that it has a more modern look? A great question. Tomorrow, I know that we have been tweaking since we acquired the company. Judith, that's probably a good suggestion. What I'm committed to do is to form an internal committee here at Key and Grace to have a look at the logo. I probably asked Heather Goldston, who is the marketing expert on the board, plus our internal marketing gurus, to have a look at it and give us their thoughts. But it will be an interesting exercise. Tamara, anything to add to that?
Yes, I agree, Chair.
Yeah, okay, all right, so I'll set up a committee, an internal committee, to have a look at it. And of course, we'll give you feedback as we move along. Question again, what's happening with the MCT ratio? Has the company been able to meet the FSC's target of 250 or more? The question to that is yes. As I shared with you in my presentation, the audited results shows that our MCT ratio is 286.14, and we continue in 2022 to have a strong MCT ratio. The other question is, we noticed that GKFG is a major player in the insurance industry, and we acquired Sequel. Is there a merger in place in the future? Great question. So Sequel, which we have now renamed GK Life Insurance Company, based in St. Lucia, is actually a life insurance company. So Grace Kennedy and our GKFG holding company, we have expanded into life insurance by the acquisition of Sequel. Key is a P&C company, so there are actually no plans to merge at this time. However, we have other insurance companies in the Eastern Caribbean, and of course I have Stephen Whittingham, who is the head of insurance for the Grace Kennedy Group, to look and see the possibility of how we can work closer together, whether by merger or backroom synergies, to see how we can drive shareholders' value. At what point does the company foresee to pay dividends? So as I shared with you in the presentation, and Stuart and Tamara was very detailed, the company, we're coming from a turnaround position, colleagues, where in 2020 we made a huge loss. I would confidently say that now we have now turned around the company. The company is well capitalized. I also mentioned to you that on a sustainable growth and innovation, we're going to move the company into some serious growth mode, which will require cash. Having said that, we are now in a position on an annual basis through the audit committee and the board to review if the company can pay a dividend, and I can assure you that by the end of this year we will be doing that exercise to see if dividends can be paid in the best interest of the company and of course the shareholders. But you know, when you put a company into growth mode, preservation of cash is going to be extremely important. Stuart, I think this one is for you. Well, it was answered, but maybe you want to, and Tamara, you want to reemphasize it. What gave rise to the significant spike in profits in the fourth quarter of 2021 and 2020 and 2021? We have already explained about the actuarial 217, but expand on it for me, no?
Right. So in the fourth quarter of each year, the company actually does an actuarial review. Based on this actuarial review, it was found that our loss ratios had improved. That was in 2020. And in 2021, a mixture of both our loss ratio being improved as well as the reinsurance structure, it was a significant release in 2021. So again, the major factors were the actuarial review, and coming out of the actuarial review is the improvement in the loss ratio and the restructuring of the reinsurance arrangements.
Okay, I'm reading from the, I'm reading from the computer director quite a few questions. I'm sure Mr. David Rose is one of them. Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. For Sir Webby. I have been addressed as Sir for a very long time. Thank you very much. Will Mrs. McIntosh Robinson stay on the board despite the meeting the GK Executive Office? So I can confirm that after 6 years of service as the President and CEO of First Global Bank, Mrs. McIntosh Robinson will be the meeting office on July 15th. The board of Key will have a discussion in terms of her replacement going forward. We have not yet had that discussion, but I would expect that we will inform the stock exchange after the board meets to discuss her replacement. But it is Mrs. McIntosh's appointment was that of an executive director of Grace Kennedy. So the likelihood is that she will retire from the board or resign from the board, and we will appoint another suitable director. Can Mr. Andrade, or the head of the audit committee, speak IFRS 17, how Key is progressing in implementation, and is there a quantified impact of shareholders' equity on the P&L? IFRS 17, that's more for life insurance companies, no?
Well, we will have some impact on the general.
Share with the shareholders, right?
Right. So Key is at an advanced stage. We're actually doing impact analysis at this point in time. Once those reviews are done, they will be shared with the board. And at some point in time, we should see a reflection. But suffice to say, we will be ready for the January 1st, 2023, implementation date.
Yeah, okay. I don't expect that impact to be material in any way, being not a life insurance company. Okay. The non-motorcycle. Tamara, maybe this is, can you speak on the motor sports of renewable energy products in more quantifiable details? Also, any products got a revamp recently?
Yes, sure. So it's the water sports liability, not motor sports. The water sports liability really covers the liability of water sports operators in terms of, for example, they're taking guests on the glass bottom boat and there's an incident, then there is a liability exposure, which we do have in place coverage for such operators. For the solar energy, that's also a product which is geared towards persons who are interested in adding solar panels to their houses or business places. We do provide such coverage for the panels and also for the contractors or the service providers who would be providing and installing those. At this point, they're really new. We just started promoting them in May, and so I'm not able to say exactly. I know we would have done a few of the solar products, but I'm unable to say specifically the premiums already generated from the two products.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Tamara. A question has been asked, was the appointment of Mrs. Cameron as lead independent director part of the way to improve governance internally? Absolutely. We discussed that at length, both from a Grace Kennedy's point of view and a Key Insurance Board's point of view, and Rochelle Cameron was appointed to improve the governance internally. Kerry Ann, maybe you are the best person to answer this question. The JSC Corporate Governance Index.
All right. It's interesting that Mr. Rose raised this question because this is something that we were looking at and investigating just today, just to confirm the score. So this is something that we'll actually have to get back to you on because we don't have the results of the corporate governance index, the questionnaire that was shared by the JSC.
Okay, let's follow up
but that will share.
We'll follow up with Marlene, no? And we'll take it from. All right, colleagues. Did we get the printout? Let me just see. If we are unable to answer all the questions, we're going to post the answers as soon as possible. Could the GM speak to the short end part of the motor claim risk and the potential funding gap? Again, generally about motor claims, what is happening?
On the motor claim side, what we're seeing is an increase in frequency and, to an extent, increase in severity, particularly since the removal of the Disaster Risk Management Act. Notwithstanding, and this is not unique to Key Insurance only, notwithstanding, we continue to review our books and to ensure that, as best as possible, we honor all those claims that are legitimate and to, of course, manage our expenses around the claims. So that remains an area of focus for us because we are cognizant of the impact of high claims expenses on our business.
Thanks, Tamara. I guess this one is for you. Can you speak more to the technologies Key is considering, including a possible mobile app, that's whole digital transformation?
Thanks, Chair. I will take that question. So we have been taking strides to improve our website and our online portal. As it relates to a mobile app, we do have one in progress, so it's still under development and we will be launching it to our customers later this year. We just recently introduced our WhatsApp chat bot, which allows our customers to connect with us to whether check on their claims, request a quote, just get general information via WhatsApp bot about their policies with us. So we continue to explore technologies to improve the efficiency of our business and also to enhance communication with our customers.
Okay, thank you very much, Tamara. Let me see if I can get back to to the agenda. Okay, again, my fellow shareholders and members of the media, if we have not answered your question, can I ask that you submit by email again, and then when we have the emails here, so how are we going to post them on the website, the answers? Let us do that tomorrow if we can try and do it within a few days.
Will do.
All right, thank you very much, colleagues, and thanks for all of those questions. Very important that we hear from our shareholders. Okay, item 9. The auditor's report has been circulated to the members. I will now ask Ms. Gail Moore, audit partner at PricewaterhouseCoopers, to read the auditor's report. Gail, I know this is your favorite activity.
Pleasant good afternoon. Independent Auditor's Report. To the members of Key Insurance Company Limited, report on the audit of the financial statements. In our opinion, the financial statements give a true and fair view of the financial position of Key Insurance Company Limited, the company, as at 31st December 2021, and of its financial performance and its cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with International Financial Reporting Standards, IFRS, and with the requirements of the Jamaican Companies Act. What we have audited. The company's financial statements comprise the statements of financial position as at 31st December 2021, the statement of comprehensive income for the year then ended, the statement of changes in equity for the year then ended, the statement of cash flows for the year then ended, and the notes to the financial statements, which include significant accounting policies and other explanatory information. Basis for opinion. We conducted our audit in accordance with international standards on auditing, ISAs. Our responsibilities under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibilities for the audit of the financial statements section of our report. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. Independence. We are independent of the company in accordance with the International Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants, including international independent standards issued by the International Ethics Standards Board for Accountants, IESBA Code. We have fulfilled our other ethical responsibilities in accordance with the IESBA Code. Our audit approach. Audit scope. As part of designing our audit, we determined materiality and assess the risks of material misstatement in the financial statements. In particular, we considered where management made subjective judgments, for example, in respect of significant accounting estimates that involved making assumptions and considering future events that are inherently uncertain. As in all of our audits, we also addressed the risk of management override of internal controls, including, among other matters, consideration of whether there was evidence of bias that represented a risk of material misstatement due to fraud. We tailored the scope of our audit in order to perform sufficient work to enable us to provide an opinion on the financial statements as a whole, taking into account the structure of the company, the accounting processes and controls, and the industry in which the company operates. Key audit matters. Key audit matters are those that, in our professional judgment, were of most significance in our audit of the financial statements of the current period. These matters were addressed in the context of our audit of the financial statements as a whole and informing our opinion thereon, and we do not provide a separate opinion on these matters. Key audit matter. Valuation of incurred but not reported claims for property and casualty contracts. Refer to notes 2N, 3B, and 24 to the financial statements for management's disclosures of related accounting policies, judgments, and estimates. As at 31st December 2021, total incurred but not reported reserves amounted to $519 million. The methodologies and assumptions utilized to develop incurred but not reported reserves involve a significant degree of judgment. There is generally less information available in relation to these claims, which can result in variability between initial estimates and final settlement. Management engaged an independent actuarial expert to assist in determining the value of claims incurred but not reported. We focused on this area because underlying these methods are a number of assumptions and judgments relating to the expected settlement amount and settlement patterns of claims, which are subject to complex calculations. How our audit addressed the key audit matter. The approach to addressing the matter with the assistance of our actuarial specialists involved the following procedures, amongst others. Tested the completeness, accuracy, and reliability of the underlying data utilized by management and its external actuarial experts to support the actuarial valuation. Assessed the independence, experience, and objectivity of management's actuarial expert. Performed a methods and assumptions analysis of the actuarial valuation prepared by management's actuarial expert, consider the suitability of the methodology used by management's actuary in establishing claims liabilities against established actuarial practice and our knowledge and experience. The results of our procedures indicated that the assumptions used by management for determining the value incurred but not reported claims for property and casualty contracts were not unreasonable, and the methodologies applied were appropriate in the circumstances. Other information. Management is responsible for the other information. The other information comprises the annual report, but does not include the financial statements and our auditor's report thereon, which is expected to be made available to us after the date of this auditor's report. Our opinion on the financial statements does not cover the other information, and we will not express any form of assurance conclusion thereon. In connection with our audit of the financial statements, our responsibility is to read the other information identified above when it becomes available and, in doing so, consider whether the other information is materially inconsistent with the financial statements or our knowledge obtained in the audit, or otherwise appears to be materially misstated. When we read the annual report, if we conclude that there is a material misstatement therein, we are required to communicate the matter to those charged with governance. Responsibilities of management and those charged with governance for the financial statements. Management is responsible for the preparation of the financial statements that give a true and fair view in accordance with IFRS and with the requirements of the Jamaican Companies Act, and for such internal control as management determines is necessary to enable the preparation of financial statements that are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error. In preparing the financial statements, management is responsible for assessing the company's ability to continue as a going concern, disclosing as applicable matters related to going concern, and using the going concern basis of accounting unless management either intends to liquidate the company or to cease operations or has no realistic alternative but to do so. Those charged with governance are responsible for overseeing the company's financial reporting process. Auditors' responsibilities for the audit of the financial statements. Our objectives are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, and to issue an auditor's report that includes our opinion. Reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but is not a guarantee that an audit conducted in accordance with ISOs will always detect a material misstatement when it exists. Misstatements can arise from fraud or error and are considered material if, individually or in aggregate, they could reasonably be expected to influence the economic decisions of users taken on the basis of these financial statements. As part of an audit in accordance with ISOs, we exercise professional judgment and maintain professional skepticism throughout the audit. We also identify and assess the risk of material misstatement of the financial statements, whether due to fraud or error, design and perform audit procedures responsive to those risks, and obtain audit evidence that is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our opinion. The risk of not detecting a material misstatement resulting from fraud is higher for one resulting from error, as fraud may involve collusion, forgery, intentional omissions, misrepresentations, or the override of internal controls. Obtain an understanding of internal control relevant to the audit in order to design audit procedures that are appropriate in the circumstances, but not for the purpose of expressing an opinion on the effectiveness of the company's internal control. Evaluate the appropriateness of accounting policies used and the reasonableness of accounting estimates and related disclosures made by management. Conclude on the appropriateness of management's use of the going concern basis of accounting, and based on the audit evidence obtained, whether a material uncertainty exists related to events or conditions that may cast significant doubt about the company's ability to continue as a going concern. If we conclude that a material uncertainty exists, we are required to draw attention in our auditor's report to the related disclosures in the financial statements, or, if such disclosures are inadequate, to modify our opinion. Our conclusions are based on the audit evidence obtained up to the date of our auditor's report. However, future events or conditions may cause the company to cease to continue as a going concern. Evaluate the overall presentation, structure, and content of the financial statements, including the disclosures, and whether the financial statements represent the underlying transactions and events in a manner that achieves fair presentation. We communicate with those charged with governance regarding, among other matters, the planned scope and timing of the audit and significant audit findings, including any significant deficiencies in internal control that we identify during our audit. We also provide those charged with governance with a statement that we have complied with relevant ethical requirements regarding independence, and to communicate with them all relationships and other matters that may reasonably be thought to bear on our independence, and, where applicable, actions taken to eliminate threats or safeguards applied. From the matters communicated with those charged with governance, we determined those matters that were of most significance in the audit of the financial statements of the current period and are therefore the key audit matters. We describe these matters in our auditor's report unless law or regulation precludes public disclosure about the matter, or when, in extremely rare circumstances, we determine that a matter should not be communicated in our report because the adverse consequences of doing so would reasonably be expected to outweigh the public interest benefits of such communication. Report on other legal and regulatory requirements. As required by the Jamaican Companies Act, we have obtained all the information and explanations which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purposes of our audit. In our audit, proper accounting records have been kept so far as appears from our examination of those records, and the accompanying financial statements are in agreement therewith and give the information required by the Jamaican Companies Act in the manner so required. The engagement partner on the audit resulting in this independent auditor's report is Gail Moore, signed PricewaterhouseCoopers, Chartered Accountants, 1 March 2022, Kingston, Jamaica. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Gail. At this juncture, we'll move for the approval of the auditor's report. May I have a motion that the audited financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2021 and the reports of the directors and auditors circulated with the notice convening the meeting be and are hereby approved. Using the raise hand feature at the bottom of your screen, may I have a shareholder to move and another to second this motion?
Moved by David Rose, seconded by Judith Evans.
David Rose moved, seconded by Judith Evans. Thank you, David. Thank you, Judith. Ladies and gentlemen, the resolution is now displayed on your screens. I ask that you submit your vote in favor or against.
Get the key, affordable insurance for you and me, for your car, for your house and your things. Get it free. Every bus operator, every taxi, link up 888 call key. Watch out, just get your license, then don't worry. Just for your car, you go save plenty. Up to 65% off your policy. Yeah, dial 888 call key.
Go, live, ride, and drive with Key Insurance, the key to your peace of mind.
Dial 888 call key.
That's 888-225-5539. www.keyinsurancejm.com.
Thank you. Okay, the votes have been submitted. The Secretary has confirmed that the majority has voted in favor of this resolution. I declare the motion carried. Approval for the re-election of directors retiring pursuant to Article 97. I think photos are up. It should be up. Ladies and gentlemen, the directors on your screen: Mariam McIntosh Robinson, Kareem Tomlinson, and Rochelle Cameron, have an excellent record of board meetings attendance and participation. The board is satisfied that they have made a valuable contribution to date, and they have demonstrated their commitment to serving as a director. Further details on our directors are available on the company's website and in our annual 2021 report. We'll now move for the re-election of Mariam McIntosh Robinson, Kareem Tomlinson, and Rochelle Cameron, who retire by rotation in accordance with Section 91 of the Articles of Incorporation, and who, each being eligible for the reappointment, hereby offer themselves for re-election as directors. Once again, using the raise hand feature at the bottom of your screen, may I have a shareholder to move and another to second the motion for the reappointment of these directors?
Moved by Dwayne Lindsay, seconded by Carleen Isaacs.
Dwayne Lindsay.
Carleen Isaacs.
Okay. Thank you, Dwayne. Thank you, Carleen. Ladies and gentlemen, the resolution is now displayed on your screens. I ask that you submit your vote in favor or against.
Whoever you are, once you own or drive a car, you can get covered with Key Insurance.
Even if it's my very first car?
Covered.
Even if I just got my license?
Covered. What if my son drive my car sometimes? Covered.
What if my car was involved in a recent accident?
Covered. Request a quote online at www.keyinsurancejm.com or call us at 888-CALL-KEY. That's 888-225-5539. Get covered with Key Insurance, the key to your peace of mind.
I note that all has voted in favor. So the votes having been submitted, the Secretary has confirmed that the majority has voted in favor of this resolution. I declare the motion carried. Thank you very much, colleague shareholders. Approval for the re-election of directors retiring pursuant to Article 103. You should see a photo of Heather Goldson on the screen. And let me say, Heather, in our performance evaluation and gap analysis, we determined that we need an expert in terms of marketing on the board. And I'm so happy that Heather has agreed. As you can see there, Heather is a marketing professional with over 20 years experience in advertising, promotions, and communications, both in financial services and other industries. She's currently the Deputy CEO of Supreme Ventures Services Limited and Group CMO of Supreme Ventures Limited. So Director Heather Goldson, having been appointed by the board as a director in 2021, nor retires in accordance with Article 103 of the company's Articles of Incorporation, and who, being eligible, offers herself for reappointment, be hereby reappointed. Once again, using the feature at the bottom of your screen, may I have a shareholder to move and another to second the motion for the reappointment of this director.
Moved by David Rose, seconded by Heather Bowie.
Moved by David Rose, seconded by Heather Bowie. Ladies and gentlemen, the resolution is now displayed on your screens. I ask that you submit your vote in favor or against.
Key Insurance is now introducing the new PPV Protect for taxis and bus drivers, because your livelihood and side hustle is important to us too. Protect yourself, the man on the road, and all your passengers with PPV insurance coverage. Get up to 12 months premium financing today. Ask us how. Key Insurance, caring for PPV drivers and passengers as they commute daily. Get a quote. Call 888-CALL-KEY, that's 888-225-5539, or visit www.keyinsuranceJM.com. One and ready.
Okay, colleagues, I'm seeing for 100%. There are none against. So the votes having been submitted, the Secretary has confirmed that the majority has voted in favor of this resolution. I declare the motion carried. Appointment of auditors. As it relates to the appointment of auditors for the company, may we please have a motion that PricewaterhouseCoopers Chartered Accountants, having signified their willingness to serve, continue in the office as auditors of the company pursuant to Section 154 of the Companies Act, to hold office until the conclusion of the next annual general meeting at a remuneration to be fixed by the directors of the company. Again, using the raise hand feature at the bottom of your screen, may I have a shareholder to move and another to second this motion.
Moved by Liliana Cisneros and seconded by Ashiba Grant.
Thank you, Ashiba. Thank you, Liliana. Ladies and gentlemen, the resolution is now displayed on your screens. I ask that you submit your vote in favor or against.
It's Captain speaking. You've boarded a safe flight. However, so many things can go wrong when you travel. Lost luggage, flight delays, and emergency medical expenses. But with travel insurance, you can focus on all the things that can go right and leave the stress to your travel insurance partner. Don't wait till you're on a plane to plan for your trip. Plan ahead and get travel insurance with COVID-19 protection from Key Insurance. Travel with the key to your peace of mind. Key Insurance, the people's insurer for economical insurance solutions.
Thank you very much. Once again, we have for 100% against none. So, Secretary, are you going to confirm that? Okay, the votes having been submitted, the Secretary has confirmed that the majority has voted in favor of this resolution. I declare the motion carried. Director's remuneration, and may we have a motion that the amount shown in the financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2021 for fees of the directors be and is hereby approved. Using the raise hand feature at the bottom of your screen, may I have a shareholder to move and another to second this motion.
We have Dwayne Lindsay moving. We need someone to second it.
Dwayne?
Stephen Whittingham has
seconded by Stephen Whittingham. Ladies and gentlemen, the resolution is now displayed on your screens. I ask that you submit your vote in favor or against.
Here's a key deal for all drivers. For a limited time only, get a flat low rate on third-party insurance for your vehicle. Car insurance for as low as $10,000 every 3 months or $20,000 for the year. Start with peace of mind. Start with Key Insurance. Conditions apply. Visit one of our branches island-wide. Visit our website www.keyinsuranceJM.com or call 888-CALL-KEY.
That's 888-225-5539.
Okay, thank you. I'm seeing 100% again. So the votes having been submitted, the Secretary has confirmed that the majority has voted in favor of this resolution. I declare the motion carried. Amendments to the Articles of Incorporation. I understand, Madam Secretary, you're going to take us through this one here.
Thank you, Chairman. The final resolution for this afternoon deals with a proposed amendment to the company's Articles of Incorporation. May we have a motion that, pursuant to Section 10 of the Companies Act, the Articles of Incorporation of the company be altered by adding after Article 145 the following article to be numbered 145A, and 145A reads, notwithstanding Article 145 and any other provision of these articles, a notice or any document to be given by the company to its members may be given by 1. Uploading, publishing, or otherwise making the notice or document available electronically via the company's website and or the website of the Jamaica Stock Exchange for so long as the company remains a listed company, and or the website of any other regulator or exchange on which the company is listed. Or 2, by publishing the notice or document in a daily newspaper printed and circulated in Jamaica. Where a notice or document is given or made available via a website as provided in subclause 1 of Article 145A, service of such document, notice or document shall be deemed to be effected at the expiration of 24 hours after the notice or document is first made available. Any notice or document published in a daily newspaper shall be deemed to be served on the date of publication. For the purposes of this Article 145A, the term document shall include notices of general meetings, resolutions, circulars, proxy forms, financials including profit and loss accounts, balance sheets, and auditors' reports, and any other document or information the company is required to or may decide to give to its members. By subscribing for and or holding shares in the company, each member hereby consents to the provision of notices and other documents electronically as contemplated in this Article 145A. Chairman, will you take us through the voting?
Thank you, Carrie Ann. Thank you very much, Carrie Ann. Again, using the raise hand feature at the bottom of your screen, may I have a shareholder to move and another to second this motion?
Moved by Dwayne Lindsay, seconded by Carleen Isaacs.
Carleen Isaacs and Dwayne. Thanks, Dwayne. Thanks, Carleen. Ladies and gentlemen, the resolution is now displayed on your screens. I ask that you submit your vote in favor or against.
Get the key, affordable insurance for you and me, for your car, for your house and your things. Get it free. Every bus operator, every taxi, link up 888 call key. Watch out, just get your license, then don't worry. Just for your car, you're gonna save plenty. Up to 65% off your policy. Yeah. Dial 888 call key.
Go, live, ride, and drive with Key Insurance, the key to your peace of mind.
Dial 888 call key.
That's 888-225-5539. www.keyinsurancejm.com.
Thank you very much. Again, fellow shareholders, owners of Key, looking at the screen here, 100% for, none against, obviously. So the votes having been submitted, Madam Secretary, can you confirm that the majority? The Secretary has confirmed that the majority has voted in favor of this resolution. I declare the motion carried. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the agenda for today's meeting. It has been, as you have seen from the outstanding presentations by Tamara and Stuart, it has been a great year for Key, and I know the best is yet to come. We are committed to our strategy and to providing quality products and the best quality insurance protection to our customers. Our highly motivated and competent team is dedicated to delivering excellent service to our customers and strong returns to our shareholders. Thank you all for continuing to choose Key Insurance. Please stay safe and have a good evening. The meeting is hereby terminated. Thank you very much, colleagues. Thanks a lot.